BRG, they're a talent acquisition company at their core, right? So they're helping people in South Africa and indeed across the entire continent. So think about any country in Africa, they have connections and resources to support people with landing roles in across all sorts of different jobs and disciplines across the entire continent. So they're doing amazing work, and we've worked out a partnership with them where they will be helping us get the Pybites platform that you all know and love, or at least I hope you know and love, uh, getting that into schools and universities and other educational institutions to build awareness and bridge that technical and employment gap that's currently growing and existent in across the continent, right? Hello and welcome to the Pybites podcast, where we talk about Python, career, and mindset. We're your hosts. I'm Julian Sequeira.
And I am Bob Beldebos. If you're looking to improve your Python, your career, and learn the mindset for success, this is the podcast for you. Let's get started. Welcome back, YouTube. Welcome back, everybody. Dear listeners, this is Bob. I'm here with Julian, and we're back with the Pybites podcast.
Hey, man. What's good? I forgot how to do intros again.
That
It's
was
been a
good,
while.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was good. Very
Yeah.
nice. Very nice. Good to
Finally
be
recording
back.
together. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good
Oh,
to have the two of us back together again, OGs, and just ready to have a casual chat today. But everyone just stay with us, stay with us. We're gonna get to a point, all right? But bear with us. We have a couple of wins and just discussion points to share with you all as we get started. So, what do you reckon, Bob? Should we just jump straight in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Right. Okay. All right. So first, as everyone knows, our Python community in Circle is just awesome. And if you don't know that, it is awesome. It's fantastic. People chat about all sorts of stuff. But Bob, just quickly, do you want to highlight some of the cool things that are happening in there?
Well, one thing people have been posting about is the advent of code. So daily posts and discussions. So that's pretty interesting.
Hmm.
And yeah, people show all kinds of cool Python stuff. This might have been in PDM, but there was a whole discussion about UVcorn versus GUnicorn, and
Hmm.
coaches jumping in, clients jumping in, and really getting to the bottom of what sometimes can be confusing. So,
Yeah,
but same for the public community, right? There's a lot of technical discussion going on. So yeah, it's really good. And I think there are
that's
now
cool.
almost 1,200 people in, so it's still growing.
Something like that. I think we're around that mark. You know what I like though is that some of these threads where people are debating Pythonic topics or code topics, whatever it is, they're actually really respectful. Like I'm used to seeing these debates on Reddit, Slack communities, so, what was it, Stack Overflow and stuff, and people are just abusive to each other and rude and hide behind their keyboards. But this is really nice. There's this respectful dialogue, which I really appreciate. And when I see it, I'm just like, this is why we do it. So
It's
that's
a
really
shout out
cool.
to the Python community as well, right? Where that
Mm,
tends to happen not or way less. So I'm happy
yeah,
to that we can say that we are in line with that, philosophy
yeah.
or style.
And on that note, I wanted to give a shout out to Marcos uh, from our community who joined. And so when you join our community, you get an automated, of course, it's automated. I even say it's automated because I can't reach out to everyone one by one as soon as they join. So you get an automated message from me, from Robot Julian, welcoming you to the community and inviting you to just talk to me. And then when you reply, I get that DM, and then I can type and have a chat with you. And so Marcos, he replied to that, and he gave me some really good feedback today, saying that he loves the podcast, and he just loves how casual and relaxed and just unforced it is. And so, yeah, thank you, Marcos. That really meant a lot to me when I got that feedback. So I appreciate you listening, and to everyone else who listens for similar reasons. We like to keep things casual on this, and it makes it approachable, right?
Yeah, and then we don't only talk about the tech, but also the mindset, which we, from
Mm,
experience, we find as if not more important. We
yep.
also celebrated 100K downloads on the podcast, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. We had 100,000 lifetime downloads on this podcast. It's just awesome, man. That was a couple of weeks ago, but just incredible. What a milestone. I still can't believe we have that many people who've downloaded the episodes. It's just crazy.
Yeah, and I did it on your post, but I was also going to do it here. Shout out to Jason Wadier because he nudged
Mm,
it to actually do it because we were like in paralysis by analysis,
Yep.
over perfecting, and then we admitted that we are going to suck at it first till the first 20 episodes, and then we just did it. Right? And it's
Yep.
true, right? You get better at it as you go, like with everything.
Yep.
So yeah, that was a critical moment. Thank you,
Yeah,
Jason.
I do not want to go back to those first episodes and listen.
Probably
Um,
cringe.
Really cringeworthy.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jason, thank you, man. It was so this was at PyCon, one of the PyCons years ago. He was, I think we were sitting in a Starbucks or something in the States, and he was like, you guys should have a podcast. You guys would be good at it. Just do it. We're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it was
You
that
believe in us, Jace.
head slap moment, right? Like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
they probably should have a podcast.
Yeah. It would be fun. It would be fun. So there we go. Okay, so with all that aside, should we jump into the main topic?
Yeah, sure. It's about time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so everyone, the as you probably guessed from the the title of this episode, as you're streaming it, watching it, whatever, Bob and I are really excited to announce our very first partnership from Pybites with Pybites with a lovely company based in South Africa called Believe Resourcing Group, which I'll just call BRG because that's a I'm not going to keep saying that, but BRG, they're a talent acquisition company at their core, right? So they're helping people in South Africa and indeed across the entire continent. So think about any country in Africa, they have connections and resources to support people with landing roles in across all sorts of different jobs and disciplines across the entire continent. So they're doing amazing work, and we've worked out a partnership with them where they will be helping us get the Pybites platform that you all know and love, or at least I hope you know and love, uh, getting that into schools and universities and other educational institutions to build awareness and bridge that technical and employment gap that's currently growing and existent in across the continent, right? So there are some pretty stark and scary and sad statistics there with, 30% plus for people between the ages of 18 to 35 being unemployed, so
That's
and
mad.
they don't have, yeah, it's absolutely scary. And they don't have the access to technology to these kinds of platforms that will help them skill up. So us coming in there with the PyBites platform through BRG, supporting it, making those connections and using their resources and networking with the governments and everything like that across the continent is going to be so impactful. And we're really excited to get it in there. So I've been talking for a bit. So Bob, I'm going to throw this to you. And I guess I just want everyone to know, right? Everyone's used to the platform from a perspective of I'm a professional developer. I'm someone who already knows a bit of Python. I'm 30 years old. I kind of want to dabble in Python. I might do the newbie bites, but for the crowd that we're targeting in Africa that would benefit from this the most, so students, university students, people who are unemployed, all these kinds of groups, how would they benefit from the platform?
Well, it's deliberate practice on steroids, right? So all the exercises going to work. But if they're newbies, 50, we extended them. Russell did an amazing series of screencasts on YouTube. So right there, if they're new, that will give them the fundamentals, right? And then classically, the leap to intros or beginner Python learning path was too steep, so that's why we extended the newbie offering. So there's now this perfect, leveling. There's no gap anymore. Also
Mm,
constantly working on making it better, the descriptions and fixes and all that. But yeah, I think interesting here as well will be learning paths. So they can just branch out into these different sub areas of Python or even related fields. So we have decorators, iter tools, like all the good standard library stuff. And people keep calling it out, like compared to other platforms that support many languages, therefore also are more shallow. And ours is really focused on Python. And I think all that years of work, now we see the tip of the iceberg with the V2 rewrite, and it's faster and more responsive. But what actually the whole work behind of all the exercise have been years of building and fine tuning with all that incredible feedback we've been getting on V1. But I think for them, yeah, it will be interesting to for them to branch out into learning paths and for us to do more of them. Both on core Python as well as maybe things like I think you were talking about PyXL the other day. Cybersecurity is hot. But also things like type hinting on with Python, that's super important, and we want to do more of. I'm not sure if it answers the question, but yeah, just long story short, there's something for everybody.
Mm,
Um, but if they're completely new, they can upskill fast. But if they're advanced, they can also go into these branches. You know.
yep. No, that's a perfect answer. Like what I'm really excited about with this is that something we kind of took for granted with the platform because most of our market is in these Western countries like the US and Australia and Canada and the UK and so on. We don't really think about how people in other nations that aren't so fortunate to have access to these platforms, we don't think about how what the impact is of not having access to that. So many of these people just don't even realize that, hey, with access to a platform like ours, like the Pybites platform, I can actually work my way into a career like that. It's not just something for the people on TV. It's not just something for the elite few with the opportunity that already have that opportunity and wealth, you know? So, what really makes me proud is that these newbie exercises specifically that, I mean, I remember writing these, man, years ago, just sitting there. This was before I think, did we write it before we did coaching? I don't even remember.
Yeah, yeah, surely did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that has been around for coaching is 4 years, so that is at least 5, 6 years. You know.
yeah, and I remember writing these just thinking we should have some exercises for people who know absolutely nothing. I just remember sitting there over a week, just smashing these out into a GitHub repo for you to review and write the tests for as we were going back and forth. And
Beautiful.
my wife was the test subject to read through the text. Like, does this make sense? Am I assuming too much? So to me, the it's an absolute privilege, and I don't say that, to sound up myself, but it's so exciting to think that something that I just wrote kind of randomly on a whim is now potentially going to make such a huge impact on it throughout an entire continent of over 1 billion people. So to me, that's like the ultimate. We've peaked with our value of lifting people up and being there for people. So I just while I have the opportunity, while I have the microphone, I just want to give a shout out to the team at Believe Resourcing Group. So the CEO Angie, then you got Bernadine, Zani, and Janine, who I've all met now, and Bob, you met a few of them as well, who just their excitement for what we're doing it was just infectious, and it just and if you check out my LinkedIn, everyone, if you go check, our link should be in the show notes for this episode. If you look at my LinkedIn, you'll see just all the communication and excitement around this, and it's just spawning all sorts of cool stuff happening. So stay tuned. I'll stop waffling about it now, but it is something we're very proud of. Something we didn't realize we've spent so many years working towards this without even intending to. And we're just very lucky that we've built this friendship and partnership, and we're very, very excited to see where it goes and the impact that it has. There you go.
Yeah, and do you want me to share some quick stats on
Oh, yeah,
V2?
please do. Of
Yeah, so
course.
there are almost 1,400 users right now, and yes, last week we had a record number of exercises solved, which was 1,125. So
Nice.
that's what is that in 7 days? It's like
I'm not
almost
doing that
getting to the
math.
200 exercises a day. So that's really cool. But
That's
funny enough,
amazing.
of those 1,125 exercises, 978 were newbies. So so
There you go.
80% or so is newbies. So there's just a lot of demand for, like, I mean, some of that are school students, of course, that might skew the
Yeah.
stats a little bit, but and that's an interesting data point. Yeah, around 50 to 100 people joining every week, and but that will of course be more when this kicks off. Yeah, so I'm really happy that we did the rewrite, because yeah, that was now in hindsight really needed, because the old
Yeah.
platform was functional, but it was not really scalable, both design
Yeah.
and performance wise. So um,
No. Awesome,
yeah.
man. So actually, kudos to you and thank you to you for all the work you did for that, for the new platform for 2.0. It's just incredible what you were able to whip out in such a short period of time, right? This was built in like 3 weeks, which is just just mind blowing.
6 weeks. Yeah, but the core was probably 3 weeks. Yeah, it was funny,
Yeah.
right? Like we have a whole podcast about this, where we actually built a prototype for a Rust platform. which is still out there.
Mm.
We still want to go back to, and that
Yeah.
became then the model for this.
Yeah.
So that was funny, and it's kind
Yeah.
of cool, right? It also shows with this partnership that it's kind of cliche, but just do it, because we could never have really anticipated this, right? And
Mm.
so any entrepreneurs in the audience, if you have doubts or you're over perfecting, I would say just launch, because we you've followed us for a while, and we've went from blog to training to platform to coaching, and now to platform 2.0 and further scaling, and that all just happened organically, right? So it's just good to get started, and don't over perfect, because you never know how the journey is not like I was talking with somebody
Linear.
yesterday. It's not linear, right? It's kind of like this. If you see me on video, like, and then ultimately you get here,
Snaky.
right? But it's like, yeah, it's a snake trail.
Yep. Yeah. No, no, you're exactly right. And this whole thing is also a lesson in you never know what conversation is going to lead to where. This is
Networking.
something I'm constantly talking to our clients in PDM about this. I'm like, just make the time for people and have a conversation. Obviously, don't sit there and say, I need something out of every conversation, right? That's a bit selfish, right? But also, there's nothing wrong with knowing that, hey, every relationship that you have out there, something may come of it that may be life changing. And that may not be right now, but it could be in 5, 10 years. And indeed, this connection and relationship with BRG is years in the making. I won't go into that detail, but um, it's ta and who could have known when that first connection was made that would it would end up here. So it's just it really is a good reminder for people that just talk to people, just be human, connect on a personal level, do it unselfishly, be interested in the other person, right? What's our favorite
Yeah,
quote?
very great. I was going to mention it. To be interesting, be interested. Yeah,
Be interested. Yeah, exactly. So
like
be interested in
Derek
people
Sivers.
but it's like taking honest interest in them, not just fake it, but really care and really care about other people. And these things just inevitably happen. So anyway, I'll stop yapping on about that, but stay tuned. There's a press release on LinkedIn. There'll be more things coming, I'm sure. You'll hear about it. Us, we'll write about this in email. And especially as the wins start coming in with like, hey, we got the platform into this school and now there's 600 students learning Python for the first time. Like that's something I can't wait to share when those things start happening. So
In just 12 weeks, Pybites elevates you from Python coder to confident developer. Build real-world applications, enhance your portfolio, earn a professional certification showcasing tangible skills, and unlock career opportunities you might not even imagine right now. Apply now at pybit.es/pdm.
yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah, no, and shout out and thanks for the networking on your side, and that's what you do best, And but well, that also frees me up. It frees me up for the coding and the technical side,
Mm,
which is much needed for a platform. So we have 422 exercises. Definitely committed to growing that to 500 next year. Like as
yeah.
mentioned, type int, maybe PyXL. Maybe we can do something with Nano
Mm,
Django, but
yep.
also just Python standard, maybe algorithm or whatever exercises. SQL model will still need to do. So yeah,
Yep.
we'll keep growing that collection and making it better. Because yeah, we're super excited about this and just what
Yeah.
the platform is doing for people.
Exactly. It's a good reminder as well that doesn't matter what path you want to go down with Python, machine learning, AI, OpenCV, or whatever it happens to be, right? Network engineering, that sort of stuff. You still need to know the fundamentals, and that's where the platform really comes into its own. So you can
And
get
it's
those
also
fundamentals. Yeah,
sorry,
you go. No,
finish
no,
your thought. Yeah,
no. I was
all
gonna
right.
say it just means we can you get that stuff down, and then you can start branching through the learning paths. That's what I
Yeah.
want to say.
And it's by size, right? Because the Advent code, those challenges are amazing, right? They're really well put together, but they're also big. They can take you
Yeah.
hours, right? But a
Yeah.
byte, well, the byte can, depending the level, can also take you hours. But generally, it's just about finishing one, two, three small functions, or one big function, right? So it's still bite sized. So it's what we hear often is that like this is like this nice first thing in the morning workout
Yeah.
type thing I do, and then you have the streak calendar that you can, keep yourself accountable and all that. So yeah,
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
No, that's cool. So now, just to wrap it up nicely, imagine an entire continent of people learning to code on that. Isn't it? Like that to me is just exciting, man. I can't get over it. It's going to be awesome having people just learn the right way. You learn by doing, repetition, and then hopefully that inspires them to build. And I've already heard some cool stories about people who, once they were exposed to code, the incredible stuff they built from that. It's just beautiful. So, yeah, man, stay
I mean,
tuned.
then you still need to learn a lot of other skills like Git and GitHub and
Mm,
software development, engineering skills. But and it is, the Python fundamentals are important, and that's all covered with
yep,
the platform. So,
it'll come.
oh, well,
Nice.
did you want to say something about the learning paths as well? Some cool thing that's coming, or
Not that I know. What's coming?
well, didn't we we're going to go into the certificates for those? Some of them.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about those. Yeah, sorry.
I'm
So
spoilering now.
yeah, so there are certain learning paths that we'll have certifications for, credly certifications for. So um, not our formal, PCPD certification for completing our coaching, but you will get those credly badges for certain learning paths on the platform. So we'll announce those as they come through. Just keep an eye on the platform and you'll see them pop up. We'll have a marker to indicate that, yeah, if you complete this learning path, you'll earn a Credly badge. And that's something you can put with pride on your LinkedIn profile, put on your CV, that sort of stuff. But we wanted to do that for the more noteworthy learning paths that are actually quite challenging and difficult to complete. So not all of them will have it, but the ones that are quite niche will have them. So expect them for things like I don't know, maybe I think we might do object-oriented programming, data
Yeah.
analysis,
I
things
test
like that.
maybe. Yeah.
PyTest, yeah.
Or maybe
We'll
maybe going into domain things. If we do a cybersecurity one, if that's even feasible,
mm,
then that could be one. But yeah,
yeah,
that's to
we
be
need to figure
seen.
that out.
Yeah, yeah. I thought
There
I
you
would
go.
mention that because that's another exciting feature that's coming.
Development. Well, how about this for an exciting development? We upgraded all the Ninja images with the new
Oh,
artwork.
they look great. Yeah, just go to your profile page. Yeah,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
also see
That
like the
looks,
percentage till the next one, right? So you see the one
yeah,
you have, and then how many points you still need to earn for the next one. So that was a nice. Somebody called that out. They really like that.
yep. Now there we go. All right, so enough patting ourselves on the back. What should we do now? What do you want to talk about?
Books?
Books? Okay,
What you
what are you
reading?
reading? Oh, you do. What are you reading?
um, So I can give two. So one is the Python concurrency with async.io by Matthew Fowler.
Hmm.
Was recommended by Will, I think, who is a async ninja.
Yep.
But I actually need it for a client project now, so I need to really read up on it. I actually did a demo yesterday on async.io, and thanks to that book and AI, of course, I was able to
Mm.
at least get the basics down because it's not easy stuff. But yeah, the book explains it really well, and why CPU concurrency might not work with the GIL, and and how a network IO bound um, is better with that. But then
Hmm.
it also explains the framework really well, step in a nice pace. So I'm enjoying that, and then on the fiction side, I'm reading. That's Herman Wouk, Wines of War. That's a thick one. I actually stumbled up on it in Holland and also
Mm.
bought the sequel. So I have now 2,000 pages of war novel to read. But yeah, it's a bit slow going because this time of the year is really busy.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
Well, you?
Okay. No, those are cool. I like that. I want to hear how that war one goes because I'm a fan of, military type books and stuff.
I
But
mean, 300 pages in, and it's really good. Like it's Navy family right at the start of Second World War, and so you
mhm.
have that family story, which is great. But then also it's a very historic novel, so you
Yep.
really learn about the history. So it's
Okay.
yeah, it's pretty good
That's cool. No, I
so
like it.
far. Yeah.
So far. Yeah, you never know. Um, no, cool. So from a nonfiction perspective, I'm still reading Factfulness. I won't go into that. I'm sure I've mentioned it before on the podcast. Definitely mentioned it in PDM. So I'm reading that at the moment. But nonfiction wise, I've actually, yeah, as some of you will know, I've just come to love Korea, like the country, the culture, the people. It's just a beautiful place. I've been learning the language on Duolingo for 2 years now. I've been there twice over the past couple of years for work, and it's lovely, right? We even have people in the Pybites team based in Seoul. And so I've just randomly was recommended at the bookshop, at the bookstore, a Korean novel, just a very short, small, thin one. I think it was like, I don't know, 180 pages. It wasn't that big at all. And I really loved how it was written. So a book was then recommended to me called Welcome to the Hyeonam Dong Bookshop. And that's a place in Korea in the book. And it's just a bookshop that's there. I'm not even that far into it. I think I'm 50 something pages into it, but it's a thick enough book and it's just a really relaxed, chill story. Like at this point in the book, by page 52, I still don't even know what the friction's going to be. Like, what is the problem? Where is the challenge in this book going to be, like, for the main character? So I'm not there yet, but to me, it has just been such a pleasant, relaxed read, and I kind of love how in these two Korean books now that I've read, that I'm reading, they weave in, you see that culture. And it's reminding me of things from when I was there, reminding me of the conversations I have with people, and just how it goes. So I'm really enjoying it. It's a nice read.
Sounds like the complete opposite of the war novel.
Yeah, it is.
We're always
It's
opposite. Yeah.
so far, and
Winter, summer, like everything is opposite.
it was actually quite funny because someone said you should read this if you like that other one, you should read this, and then my wife Mel, she said I've got that book. I'm like, have you read it? She's like, no, not yet, but it's just there by the bed. So I was like, oh, there it is. So I picked it up, started reading it. Now I'm hooked on it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
like
very
how
much
we
enjoyable.
discover these books like randomly. You know, like this
Mm,
book, I have never heard of it. And then you have these book closets in Holland, right, where they ditch
mm,
books they no longer want, so you can pick them up. And there's some thick tome. I don't know why. I mean, the color and the symbol on it, it just sparked my interest. And then randomly
yeah,
you stumble upon a book like that, right?
yeah.
It's kind of curious.
Why not? I've come to love doing that. Just picking up books at random, going, you know what, I think I'm gonna buy it and just have a read. You know, I mean, I'll read the blurb, have a flick through a few pages, but for the most part, I like just buying a random book and seeing how it goes. You know,
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Uh,
Anyway, so, with that said and done, the last thing I just want to say, and I'm going to say this now just in case we don't get a chance to record. Um, I hope everyone has a wonderful, well, I'm going to try and be respectful of everyone here, but I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday season, a wonderful Christmas, all that kind of stuff. Enjoy the time off. As we always say, make sure you take that time because most places will force you to take the time off work. But if you do get the time off, make sure you actually relax. Do something for yourself. Don't work. Don't turn on the email. Stay off social media. Go and live a little and enjoy yourself. And so I've got hobbies to do. Bob's got hobbies to do, as we talked about earlier, Bob.
Coding.
And just know that, well, yeah, coding. But also, just as well, something formal is that we will be stepping away from Pybites from the 20th of December, coming back on Monday, the 6th of January. So I say that because if anyone reaches out, expect delays. I'm not going to jump up away from the beach or whatever it is we're doing for Christmas just to respond to an email.
That
Unless
sounds so
something's on fire.
long, but I think you included like 3 weekends. So then instead of
Well,
14 days,
yeah.
you're up to 16 or 17, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, no, of course. Of course you
It's
include the weekends, 20 Friday the
Royale.
20th.
That's Royale.
So Saturday 21st, Sunday 22nd. Yeah, so anyway. Yeah, it's 2 weeks, 2 working weeks off, just like the rest, most of the world is taking that. So if you are in a job where you can do that, enjoy it. If you are not and you are working through, I hope it's quiet and peaceful for you and you can actually take some time to relax. Because believe me, I've had to work through Christmas and New Year's before. I know what that's like. So, yeah, good luck to anyone doing that.
Yeah. Well said. Merry Christmas
Nice.
and enjoy the break. Yeah. And we'll
Yeah.
be back maybe in another episode before, but otherwise in the new year. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
we'll try and do another one, but I wanted to say that just in case because actually when's the Pie Bites anniversary? It's like the 18th,
19th.
20,
You should know
19th.
that.
Yeah, I should, but
8 years, right?
8 years
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
19th. So we should try and record next week before that happens, but
Yeah.
we'll probably just
Eight
sit there and
years.
have a drink.
Yeah. I think so.
Perfect. All right, everyone. Thanks for
Thanks for tuning
listening,
in.
watching, and
Yeah.
we'll be back in a bit. We'll see you soon.
Yeah. Keep the feedback coming, right? New bites, any, or, send a message on Circle. Join Circle and post anything there.
Too easy.
Love to
And
hear
if you're
from you.
watching this on YouTube, hey, like and subscribe. Come on,
Like
help
and
us.
subscribe.
Yeah, do it.
Comment
It helps
below.
us out.
Helps the algorithm.
Yeah. All right. Cheers.
All
See you,
right.
bud.
All right. Bye.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning into the Pybites podcast. I really hope you enjoyed it. A quick message from me and Bob before you go. To get the most out of your experience with Pybites, including learning more Python, engaging with other developers, learning about our guests, discussing these podcast episodes, and much, much more, please join our community at pybites.circle.so. The link is on the screen if you're watching this on YouTube, and it's in the show notes for everyone else. When you join, make sure you introduce yourself, engage with myself and Bob, and the many other developers in the community. It's one of the greatest things you can do to expand your knowledge and reach and network as a Python developer. We'll see you in the next episode, and we will see you in the community.